Hello, everybody. Welcome to Walking Purpose. This is episode 19. For anyone that's new, for anyone that's just listening, Walking Purpose is a podcast for men all over the world, great men all over the world, talking about mental health, talking about growth. Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we joke. It's just about great men. There's no judgment, pretty much. The goal is to uplift kings all over the world, pretty much. Walking Purpose podcast is on every Sunday on all major platforms. I'm excited. I'm excited today about this great interview. Pretty much, I got a Rafael Wilson. Sir, feel free to introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's up, Uplift Kings? Yeah, thank you so much for having me, man. I'm Rafael. Some people know me as Ralph, and man, I'm just grateful to just grateful to be a part of this movement that you got going on, and was so happy to support, and just happy to connect, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy to have you on. We actually met. For anyone that's listening, we met like was it last year? Last year, right?
Yeah.
Last year. It felt like it was a long time ago because there's so much happened. We met last year and we just have a great discussion. One day I was like, and it's funny because I remember we was talking about starting a podcast. We was. And
Yeah.
that's how everything folds. And you was definitely in mind for someone that I wanted to interview. So to start things off, 2020 has been like a really challenging year, pretty much. Also been a year for a lot of people who have actually branched out and stepped out the box and create new ideas and new opportunities. How you feel about this year, pretty much?
I'm winning. It's
Yeah,
a winning year,
yeah.
and I know that is. Listen, man. Everybody's hurting. Everybody's got things going on.
Hmm.
It's really a matter of perspective. If my back is going to be against the wall, I'm going to swing. You know what I mean? And 2020 has put a lot of us against the wall, and I think that we're gonna get what we put into it. You know what I mean? Like
Good point.
if you don't swing, you're going down,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Uh, so I've been very fortunate this year to really push through my small business that I got going on, called Three Amigos Multimedia.
Hmm.
And I went ahead and got certified as a social media manager. And I was just like, you know what? I love doing videos. I love helping small churches, small groups, things like that with meeting goals, being able to create content on the fly every week, helping uh, social media pages stay relevant,
Okay.
and helping small businesses really get their messages across to their clients. So this year, I just said, you know what, I'm going to jump for it, and man, I just been winning,
Yeah.
and I just haven't been afraid to win. I think that when I was left without a choice, I said, well, I might as well just go for it. The worst thing that's going to happen is nobody's going to want to pay attention to me. You know what I mean? But the reality is, when you do stuff from your heart, and you actually do um, help people accomplish their goals, and you do it and you treat it just like if it were your baby, then people are going to invest in you. And so I've been grateful that money has been pouring in every month. People are constantly subscribing to the services I provide. And man, it's a winning year, man.
That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. And you dropped a few gems pretty much, and like a lot of times people are afraid to take that first step. And
Yeah.
to admit it, I was one of them. You know what I'm saying? Before this pandemic started, and just for anyone that's listening, you can take that first step. I think a lot of times we're afraid to step out that box because it's normal. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us go through that. And
Yeah.
then once you step out the box, take that first step, you're like, oh, it's not that bad. Okay, now put both feet in and let's keep going pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like you say, you got to keep swinging. 2020 is, yeah, it's hitting us. It's hitting us
Yeah.
hard. Some of us hitting us harder, but you can still take the extra swing and keep fighting. You don't have to lay down and give up. I think a lot of people will put negative energy to 2020. Oh man, it's going to be bad. No, you're saying it's going to be bad for you. You don't have
Yeah.
to say that. So I definitely agree for everything you're saying pretty much. And that goes to my next question. Um, But 2020 has been like a lot of fear. You know, what's your advice would be for anyone who sees 2020 as I can't, or it's hopeless, pretty much. You know, you look at social media, you look at the news, you can't even go on Instagram or Facebook without seeing negativity, pretty much. So, what's your advice you give to the person who sees it as I give up, or they're thinking 2020 is just a wrap for me, pretty much?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm a realistic person, and I used to um, just expect a higher level of myself and others that just wasn't attainable. And the reality is that even for me, I've had to learn how to live in the moment,
Okay.
right? Just live like this is what I'm going through right now, and I have to deal with this,
Okay.
right? Sometimes we get so overwhelmed, right? We're trying to tackle so many different challenges, and what happens is when you become overwhelmed, that's when depression kicks in, anxiety kicks in, and then you begin to bring on things onto yourself that really you didn't own to begin with,
Mm.
right? And so I think that the reality is like I've learned to be comfortable in my moment, and I don't allow people to try to force me through a moment that I have to sit in. There are some
Okay.
moments that you actually have to just sit and just be like, look, I'm just going to watch and see how this plays out.
Okay.
Then there are some moments that you actually have to take action, but there are some moments where you can actually sit down and just sit back and say, you know, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see how this comes out. And I've learned that, and I've talked to a lot of friends of mine, people that I connect to, that you know, just tell me, man, I'm stressed out, I'm depressed, I'm going through a lot. A lot of the clients that I'm working with, they had a good start this year. They all started many of the clients that I have started their businesses in January.
Okay.
February hit, March hit, they started closing everything.
Yeah.
And I got people hitting me up. My clients are hitting me up like, Ralphie, I don't know what to do. I just opened my business. I just invested money in this. And I'm stressed. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, good. You stress, sit in it. Just sit. Just sit and think. Because what happens, you allow yourself to get anxious. You allow yourself to get depressed. You don't know how to see your way through. You've become so muddied up. And so just sitting back, learning, what I'm telling people right now, this is an experience for me, is that I've learned to just do this, just sit back and just look. And I'm okay with that. You know, I think there's something wrong with people that just say like, nah, you got to get better. Nah, you got to get through this. Nah, man, like, let me cry for a second.
That's real.
You know? Like, and let me tell you, I hate crying.
Me too.
I hate it with a passion, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? When I'm in the moment and I've gotten to that place where I'm so frustrated that all I can do is cry, right? Then I've learned to just sit in it. Just sit in it and just cry. Don't let nobody tell me, well, this is what you need to do. No, let me sit in this for a second. Let me get it out. Sometimes as men, we have to be so brave, right? And
Yeah.
we have to save the day constantly, that we're not allowed to feel things.
Yeah.
Right? And then what happens is once you've become so frustrated because you haven't been able to express yourself, now you're this angry black man, you're this angry Hispanic man, angry man, right?
Yeah.
And I think that don't let anyone fool you, and don't let anyone lie to you. Sit in it, sit in your moment, live in it, breathe it, because when you overcome, man, you want to remember what that moment was. You don't want to rush through it, because then I won't appreciate my victory at the end of it. I won't appreciate it because I didn't actually get to take a moment and sit back and actually sit in my moment. So I talk a lot, man. You go ahead.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Hey, I'm cool. I'm cool with that. But you dropped some major gems on that situation, like just sitting it, like especially this year. You know, especially in the beginning, got everything shut down. You got gym shut down. I'm one of them. You know, going to the gym is my outlet.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was going crazy because that was scary for me, because that was the first time in 11 years that I beat depression. That was my go-to.
Yeah.
You know, outside of praying, outside of going to the church, but having that physical, okay, I can lift some weights. And I had to just literally just sit. Like you just said, I had to sit in that moment. It's like you playing football, you quarterback. Let me just sit. Let me just sit. Okay. It's like having that moment to like, okay, let me just sit and get comfortable for a minute.
Yeah.
I remember what this feels like. So when I get that moment, oh, I got this idea. Oh, I got this. Oh, episode 1. You know what I'm saying? So like, I agree with what you're saying. So remember what that moment of pain feels like.
Yeah.
You can sit in it because in the day, guys, we are still human. We got feelings. It does not make you soft. It makes you a human. We are not a robot. Yes, we're tough. Yes, we are providers. Yes, we are kings. But at the same time, guys, we are human. It's okay to feel how you feel. I learned that just in the process of grieving, like last year, having those angry moments of randomly something reminding me of my grandmother. So I had to just cry. So I learned it from my fiance, said, let it out. Like you said, I agree. I hate crying.
Yeah.
The moment you get it out, it's like you rather cry, let it out, and then be walking around just be. If somebody say anything to me, mate, and then you pop off and you're in jail because you know how to express yourself.
That's it.
It's just I can't stress that enough, and I agree with everything you're saying. Just it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
And that's like the biggest thing that I've been learning for the past 11 years of me battling depression and talking to great men like yourself. So that was great. what you just said, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What you say something? Okay.
No, man. You just, I mean, you have mentioned something about your grandmother, and the moment you said that, I could see emotion come, and I think about my father passed away when I was 12,
Uh-huh.
and so I was just learning to have a father. He was still learning how to be a father,
Oh, okay.
and he passes away.
Yeah.
And so we go through all these different emotions, you know what I mean? We got people expecting things from us that we don't actually have the wherewithal to actually provide, right? Like somebody saying, be a father, but I don't know what a father looks like. I didn't have a father, right? And I didn't have anyone that was fortunate enough to step in that role, right?
Understood. Yeah.
And when I've been through so many different experiences, from being homeless in New York and eating trash in the train stations, trying to survive and having people jump me, for whatever was in my backpack. I had to survive that. I had to survive being abused at home, and then abused in the street, abused in church, abused in so many different places. And so there's so much expected of us. But when people actually, it's like when you go to the bank, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, man, I hope that $100 that was deposited yesterday is there.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And you go and you got 99 cents.
Yeah.
People expect to withdraw from us $100, and yet all we can give them is 99 cents, because we didn't receive the investment. We didn't get the surplus of investment from
Mm.
relationships and friends and family. Not all men have that. Not all men are fortunate to have those things. And so for somebody like myself that didn't have people that I felt like didn't want to invest in me, I'll say this, and maybe you want to edit this out, you can, but I was a bastard to so many people, not just because my father had passed away, but then when I went to certain churches or certain groups or certain areas, hoping that someone will take me and mentor me, they'll say, "Yeah, Ralphie, you cool. I'm gonna take you on," and then they just dipped out on me. And then people kept calling me, "What? You a bastard, man. You a bastard." Why? Because now look at all these people leaving you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to come to a situation where I was like, you know what? Some men don't need somebody to look up to. Some men, we just got to do what we got to do. And I know that that's hard for some. It doesn't sound like a concept that is something that we can adopt today. because we always want somebody to look up to, right? But there's also something about when there is a presence that's missing and you say, you know what, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be the dad that I never had.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the husband that I never saw was a good husband. I'm gonna be those things because I didn't have anyone to look up to do those things.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't have somebody to look up to, and you just got to do it. And you got to trust yourself. We all got something innate in us, you know, from the dawn of time, from the beginning of time. You know, when God says, hey, I'm going to give you charge of the garden, you know, there's something in us that the Bible doesn't talk about how Adam kept asking God questions like, okay, so how do I sow seed? How do I do this? Some things you don't need somebody to look up to. You've already have that capability already built in you. And circumstances and trials and tribulations going to push that out. It's going to force that out.
Yeah, I agree with that at the 1,000,000%, because I really feel like I'm becoming the man that I'm supposed to be, that I looked up to years ago. In a sense of, for example, I didn't have a father in my life until 3 years ago. So I'm stepping into roles that I've never seen before. I'm being a fiance and going to be a husband. I never seen that work. What does that look like? So I'm literally doing things, you know, just on my own, and, you know, make a mistake and you're learning, you know what I'm saying? So I get that point, like, you're becoming your own, actually, like, you're becoming your own role model in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, I never seen like shit work. A lot of things I learned from my past. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things I learned from my past relationships, I can't do that here. So having those teachable moments of not having a father say, hey, son, that's not how you do that. Son, what you doing? Why are you talking to me like that? Son, this is how you do this. Son, let me just school you in for a second. So now, when I have kids, I'm going to be that man what I didn't have. So my future daughter will become better than I can.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys thinking, oh, using the excuse of, I'm doing this because I ain't got a dad. No, we can't use that no more.
Right.
I'm doing this because my father wanted my life. You know, and there are plenty of guys who are great and their dad wasn't in their life, who are millionaires, ball players, or a preacher or anything like that, or a school teacher. That does make a difference. You can still make a difference not because of what's your past. You can still make a difference. So, I mean, I salute you on that. Really. Yeah. Really. That is incredible. Let's go to my next question pretty much. You mentioned a tad bit of your past pretty much. Last question is, have you ever faced any challenges in life, or as like depression, anything like that, or just anything you had to overcome that made you to the man you are today, pretty much?
Oh yeah, man. I've overcome suicide, and I am a survivor of suicide on multiple attempts. I've attempted to take my own life using pills in many occasions, and trying to overdose. And God just says, you know what, you ain't going nowhere. And so I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with anxiety. I've dealt with low self-esteem. You know, I'm watching all these other people starting their own companies, and I'm like, well, they got a bachelor's degree and they got this and they got that, and I don't got none of that. I'm a high school dropout that has nothing to his name, you know, except for what I have at home. And I've dealt with so many different things of trying to overcome all the things that I've, you know, I laugh a lot because I thought that, I thought Brooklyn was going to kill me, being in Brooklyn, New York. And I survived all that. And yet I didn't realize that my biggest enemy wasn't going to be the guys that were trying to throw me into the train tracks when the train was coming, or people pointing guns at me, or being sliced in my face, being sliced on my arm. I thought that was going to take me out. And yet the thing that was so close to taking me out was myself, my own depression, my own anxiety, my own self-esteem. And so, I think that the toughest challenge is, you know what, I have to get over this right here.
Yeah.
For some people, there are actual obstacles right in their way. And that's a whole nother conversation. You know what I mean? There's a system built to oppress people like you and I. So there's those physical and invisible things that we can't see, but that are there to systemically oppress a group of people like ourselves. I think that the hard part is we deal with so much systemic oppression and oppression of all kinds that then we believe that oppression and depression is a lifestyle. Like, oh, I've been doing this all my life. I've been depressed all my life. So this is what it should look like, right? Like, my family, they cool people. Yeah, they drink and they smoke so they can't feel their feelings, but they're the coolest people you ever know. But they depressed. They're anxious. They're dealing with low self-esteem. And we have adopted that as a normal lifestyle. I'm depressed. You know what? I'm not going to deal with that. I'm just going to drink till I can't feel feelings.
Yeah.
And now I'm raising kids that don't have a father and I'm actually in the home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had to overcome a lot of depression, low self-esteem, things that trying to measure up to people. When I realized that I shouldn't have been looking at anybody, I should have been just trying to improve myself. You know what I mean? So it's very possible you can overcome, and you're going to have like your aha moment. Everybody's going to have an aha moment. You know what I mean? If you fight for it, if you want to be free from it, you're going to have that aha moment. And for me, is my situation more important to me than my wife, who I love with all my heart? My wife has been there for me. She's seen me on my highest, preaching in pulpits and teaching and playing music and doing all these different things, to being as low as I could, just sitting for a year or two, just drinking, so that I didn't want to talk to her about my feelings. I don't want to talk to anybody. You know what I mean? And yet my wife stood there through it all. And I had to realize, shoot, I'm either going to die in this, or I'm going to live and support my loving wife, support my loving children. And so for me, my children and my wife, and obviously God, most of all, was more important. And that's what allowed me to overcome, man. And it's a struggle every day, because you almost want to relapse, like, constantly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because, it was easy to be depressed. I could just stay in my blanket down, under the bed and just chill. You know what I mean? But to actually have to live life, that is the biggest fight of it all. And I'm grateful that I've been able to overcome, because I realize that I have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah, I can definitely relate to the part where you're saying, like, it's easy to relapse, right? Like, for me, it's like I've been depressed longer than I have been recovered. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to go back into how I used to think, my old way of thinking. There are still certain triggers that can bring you back.
Oh, yeah.
It could be a song you listen to when you was going through that, or it could be what someone says to you, like, wait, that reminds me of something. So my next question is to you is, what would you say to anyone who's still, like, battling that fight, pretty much, right? I know we all battle the fight every single day, but that person who's still battling that fight of going backwards, they're going forward, pretty much.
Yeah. Fight.
Yeah.
Fight. It's going to hurt. I remember when I got surgery earlier this year in my foot. This was my 6th surgery in my foot to be able to keep me walking. Okay. And one of the things that the physical therapist said was, when you put weight on your foot, it's going to hurt. And so your instant reaction is going to be that you want to pick your foot up. because it hurts, right?
Right.
And what happens with depression, anxiety, all those things, uh, actually engaging in what hurts is the hardest battle.
Mm.
It really is. It's the hardest battle. Putting weight on that situation that you're going through, it hurts, man.
Yeah.
And when you put your foot on there or you put that weight on there, you're like, man, this stuff hurts, man. I don't feel like I ain't with this. Can I get some medication to help suppress the pain? Right? Problem is the pain doesn't register, right? But you're still experiencing pain. You're still experiencing a tearing, a growing, right? And so, but the thing is, just like the physical therapist said, I'm not going to get better unless I do it,
Yeah.
right? I'm not going to be able to walk unless I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to learn how to press through the pain, press through the hurt, and to say, I don't need the medication. I don't need this or that. I'm going to just go for it. I'm going to push. And now I'm able to walk free of pain medications. And yeah, I have my days where it hurts, but that just tells me I walked more than I did yesterday.
Yeah. Love
You
it.
feel me?
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So my encouragement to everybody is put weight on your situation. It's going to hurt. Gauge it. And then push. I have a friend of mine that loves lifting weights, and one of the things that he was teaching me, I don't lift weights. I'm not that strong. I got these little things here. But anyway, he was telling me that the way that many men that are weightlifting, or those that weightlift in general, typically see more results is in what is called the action of the negative, right? When you've dropped the weight, right, and you're trying to slowly drop it, and you can feel your muscle growing and movement, right? That negative movement, it hurts, right? But you're actually gaining something from it, or you got gains, like they say. You get gains out of it, right? And so not everything negative is a bad thing, right? You can, just like a negative and emotion of lifting weights, just compare it to life. And there are going to be things in life that are going to be negative, but they're there to help grow us. You know what I mean? And so we got to, live in your moment, do what you need to do, feel the feelings, cry the tears. And then after you've done all that, then put some weight on it.
Yeah. I agree with that 100% because, again, I can relate. It's like I was saying before, if anyone is listening, yeah, it's easy to go backwards, right? It's easy to go backwards. You know what? This is uncomfortable because you're working on yourself. And for anyone that's listening who is still going through that depression, and you feel like his life is worthless, you feel like I don't offer nothing to the world. This is something that I done said to myself in the mirror crying, to be honest with you. And so that's false. Even though it may not feel like it, you're worth it. In your head, you may think, well, I have nothing to offer. That's not true. Take those first steps to better yourself. Take those first steps to encourage yourself. You get up in the morning, you look in the mirror, tell yourself how handsome you are. It's unfortunate, us as men and us as people, we take on negativity fast and use on positive.
Yeah.
Somebody say, hey, man, I like what you're doing. Oh, man, you're handsome. Man, okay, whatever. Oh, man, you look messed up today. Dang, what?
Uh-huh.
It's unfortunate, us as people, we take on negativity faster than we do positive. So from now on, let's flip it. Let's take on the positive stuff about yourself. No matter who you are, what you're going through, the fact that your heart is still beating, be thankful for that. You're here for a reason. You have a purpose. Whatever it is in life, where you're going to school, whatever you want to do, you're here for a reason. Please always remember that. That is so important. And this reminds me of my next question, pretty much. I know when I was going through it, a great support system is helpful. I got brothers and sisters I can call. I can check on me, and I can check on them when they're going through it. So my next question is, how important is a great support system in your life, just in general or anything?
Man, good support system is extremely important. I mean, once you can get through trusting somebody that you like, you know what, I'm gonna put my trust in them. They're gonna know the ugly stuff about me. They're gonna know the good stuff about me.
Yeah.
And I need somebody that's gonna tell me that I'm messing up, and I need to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that my support system, which is my friends, is an extremely small group. Extremely small. I have a ton of acquaintances, but an extremely small group of friends that I can say these are people that I trust. And the reason why is because not everybody can be trusted with your past. Not everybody can be trusted with your hurts, right? Some people want to use it against you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so to have a great support system of people that I could trust and be like, yo, I feel like smoking today. I don't care that my lungs hurt. I don't care about this or that, man. I just want to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And my boys be like, nah, man, we ain't having that. Nah, you can get through it. Man, I want to drink. Nah, you ain't drinking today. Let's talk. You know, and having a group of people that say, Ralphie, I don't care what it is. I don't care how you're feeling. Like, let's just sit down on the couch. Let's watch a game. You know, people that actually care about you as a person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That when you mess up, they don't laugh at you. They say, hey, man, you messed up. I don't want nobody to see you messed up. Come on, man, let me help you out. That's a friend.
That is. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a friend.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you messed up, but hey, ain't nobody around. Let me lift you up. Let me get you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that they're not going to talk about it. They're not going to tell anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my support system is very, very small. You have Marcus on here a little while ago, and then you have Womack, two people that I really respect and hold in regard. That I know I can say, yo, I'm mad right now. I'm feeling some feelings. I need somebody to talk to, and they will drop whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's gonna be small, but you know, you need to have a support system. Somebody's gonna check you. That's not gonna allow you to go back to where you were.
Yeah.
Right. And so yeah, you gotta have that. Gotta have that.
Agreed. Like, man, having those great brotherhoods and sisterhoods and just great people in your life that's not going to judge you. I done had my male friends who actually, when I'm going through what I'm going through, actually like, yo, we pull you aside, real, yo, you tripping,
Yeah.
and will tell me like, will check me like, yo, what's wrong with you, dude? Like, get it together. And it's a humbling and great experience. You gotta have that instead of having that yes man. Like, look, I ain't gonna say nothing. Look at him. He gonna fall again.
Yeah.
You know, it's like watching a child walk. You know, them game stages. Look at him. He gonna fall. Boom. There you go. Laughing at him. I'm like, whoa, I got you. Come on back. And have those friends say, I don't care what time of the day it is. Call me. Check on me, or I'm gonna check on you. If anyone's listening, having a great support system, whether it's your brothers, your sisters, your spouse, or whatever, having a support system, for one, someone doesn't judge you. You got to have that vulnerability. This is what I'm going through, and whatever you say to that person, it won't leave the four walls or the phone, whatever the case may be.
Right.
They're going to gossip about your problems to make you look stupid. That's not going to judge you. That has your back. So when you do overcome that obstacle, overcome that victory, guess who's going to be standing there when you done? Clapping, pretty much.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's great. And let's go to my next question. Pretty much, phone ringing. Let that out. So always ask my guests pretty much. When you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror. What motivates you?
Man, I'm motivated by wanting to do better than yesterday.
Yes.
That every day, I posted something on Facebook not too long ago about how every day I'm getting closer to my last breath. Ooh. Right? Time waits for no one. right?
Yeah.
So as every day goes on, I'm getting closer to my last breath. And so I'm very motivated that
Mm-hmm.
as I continue to, you know, to get closer to that last breath, what will I accomplish by the time I do? What will I be able to supersede? How, like, what generational curses am I going to break by the time I get to that last breath? That somebody going to say, yeah, my dad, yeah, he loved me. You know what I mean? You know, my husband loved me. You know what I mean? And so I want to do better than yesterday, right? I have to do better than yesterday. But as I get closer to my last breath, I want to be able to say, when I take that last breath, I want to be able to comfortably close my eyes and be like, I did what I set out to do.
Powerful.
You know, people had limitations on me. People had notions about me. They had expectations. You're not going to accomplish this. You're not going to accomplish that. And I superseded those expectations, not to prove them wrong, but to prove me right. You know what I mean?
That's my
And so,
favorite quote. That's my
yeah,
favorite quote. I would always say, don't work hard to prove people wrong. Work hard to prove yourself right.
yeah, man.
Pretty much because you thought of that idea, not them. Like last
Yeah,
times, half the ones that be judging and making fun of people ain't working on them.
yeah,
That's the honest to God truth.
yeah, man.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's how society is pretty much. Um, Definitely appreciate you. This was an amazing conversation. We definitely gonna do this again. I got some more ideas in my head. I'm definitely gonna talk to you about. Before we get off, tell the audience where to reach you as far as your social media, Facebook, or what you got going on currently, so they can.
Definitely, definitely. So you just on Facebook, you could just type in Rafael, Rafael Wilson, and you're gonna find this dude with the long beard. You're gonna find, and so just link up with me. You can find us at threeamigos.solutions. So we do all kinds of stuff, man. We provide audio gear. You know, help people with audio gear. We do conferences of all kinds. We provide lighting equipment, speaking equipment. But then on top of that, we do all kinds of other services like helping with social media and all kinds of stuff. So threeamigos.solutions is our website. And then you can find us on Facebook at Three Amigos Multimedia.
Oh, okay, awesome. Definitely appreciate you. Like again, everyone's listening. Walking Purpose podcast on every Sunday on all platforms, Spotify, everything pretty much. You also get a YouTube version, Uplift Kings, Uplift Space Kings. Get a visual version. Times you want to see our faces to know that we are actually smiling, laughing sometimes when we talk. So definitely appreciate everyone for listening. Stay tuned for more. For any male that's listening, anybody listening, uplift yourself. Adjust your crown every single day you get up in the morning. Kings, queens, everybody. Adjust your crown every morning. You are worth it. You are great. Please always remember